Welcome to another episode of Community Chat. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will serve as your host for this particular show and a series of shows that we are doing leading up to the April town election. As you may or may not know, town election is Saturday, April 27th, held over at the Beaverbrook Elementary School on Ralph Hamlin Lane, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we have one contested race, that's Board of Selectmen, and we're privileged to be able to speak with some of these candidates today. We're going to sit down and we're going to speak with Mr. Tim Chapin. He is currently a member of the Board of Selectmen. Tim, how are you?
Kevin, how you doing?
Pretty good. For folks who don't know who you are, maybe they're new to town, maybe they're new to town government, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, you covered my name, Tim Chapin. I've lived in Abington my whole life, so grew up in this town, raising my kids now. We got 4 little ones. My wife and kids. My wife grew up in this town also, born and raised as well. So we're in the bloodline. Ran for selectman about 6 years ago. Wanted to serve my community, and it's been great since then. So,
talk to me about being a member of the board. You're seeking a 3rd term. Why have you decided to run again? What is it about being on the Board of Selectmen that you like serving?
I'm not done yet. Another term. I enjoy it. I enjoy working with other people, and I've enjoyed working with Scott, and all the members that I've served with on the Board of Selectmen have been great. And it's really good to get together with other people and be able to discuss ideas and come to compromises and feel like you're doing something that makes a difference and it's good for the community and good for your family.
When it was time to grab nomination papers, were you like the first one there to grab them and then have them turned in, or did you, it was one of those things where maybe you decided to take your time and feel it out?
No, I didn't grab them on the first day or anything like that, but I knew right away I was running for re-election. There was never really a question about that. We talked, me and my wife talked about it probably starting after the elections last year. You're coming into an election year, and it was really never a question that, we were going to give it another term. So,
you're probably the only one that I can ask this of, being you are an incumbent. What do you feel of some of the things that you, as a member, as a group of selectmen, have been able to accomplish during the 6 years that you have served on that board?
We survived a pandemic. That's the first thing that comes to mind. We've accomplished a lot over the 6 years. It's really been great, and like I said, with a lot of different people from getting on when Tom Conley, Kenny Coyle, Bob Manning were still on, Jim Conley, and then coming through, Alex Bazanza came on, Alex Haggerty, Kevin DiMaggio still on, but all these different people, and we really have accomplished a lot. When I came on, Rick LaFawn was still the town manager. We went through a year of that, and we decided to make a change, and that was probably the biggest step that we could have made. I just think it was time for a change. We changed the town manager at the same time we changed town council, which was another huge thing. And these are things that directly come to the Board of Selectmen. It doesn't seem like there's much that comes through us, but these are big impact moves that we felt the need to make, and they've really paid dividends. Scott's done a great job as town manager. It was a good hire. And town council, we've really been able to bring accountability back to the town departments, town hall, and some of the other things we've done is communication. When I first came on, you'd be lucky if you could find an agenda online. The town website was rarely updated, if at all. You wouldn't be able to find minutes or websites. We've come so far that we now have an app, that just came out that you can download from, your Apple Store or Google, and just right on your phone be able to get all the minutes, all the agendas. When I first came on 6 years ago, our police department had been 3 years without a contract. And when they did get a contract, they were one of the lowest paid departments on the South Shore, and the turnover was through the roof. That was a big reason why. Since then, they haven't been without a contract. We've been able to be steady with their contract straight through, and now one of the highest paid with the full educational benefits. So there are more officers are going to school and getting a deeper education, and we're compensating them for it, which has been an amazing thing. in turnover shown. So, I mean, I could go on and on about, it's been 6 years, so there's a lot, but these are some of the major impact ones that have come through.
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
It really does. Sometimes you feel like it goes by really fast, and other times you're like, wow, it's been forever.
Right. Knowing that we just had town meeting, to be able to discuss primarily your fiscal 25 budget, which starts on July 1st. It's already being forecasted that the fiscal 2026 budget could be in trouble, and that it could lead to cuts and layoffs if there is a major shortfall. Where could the town take funding from? Or is it something that it would be a discussion about a Prop 2.5 override, which most people don't want because it affects your taxes?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be in favor of a Prop 2.5 override. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it and say that we don't have some hard decisions that need to be made over the next year or so. But, that's why we have a finance committee. That's why we pay the town manager a good salary, is we expect a balanced budget every year. And if that means making tough decisions, that means making tough decisions. But no, a 2.5 override for an operational budget, that's not something I'll ever support.
And I want to make sure folks know that I'm mentioning this to Tim, and I will to all the candidates about it. Not that they're necessarily making, because the town has a fantastic finance committee that works very hard, long hours to be able to pour over the department budgets. But at the end of the day, after the Finance Committee gets done with their work, it's the Board of Selectmen that goes through prior to town meeting and gives their thumbs up or says whether they will not vote for it or they may even table it. So that's why I did ask that question, because I feel the Board of Selectmen, they figure into this conversation as well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And Scott's really good about keeping us updated as the budget process goes along, saying, hey, look, we may have a tough decision to make here. And he seeks input, which is, has been great.
Trash and waste. These have been major drivers for the current budget that was passed. Moving forward, this is strictly in your opinion, do you think the town should seek user fees or kind of keep things the way they are? What's your opinion?
I'd love to say keep things the way they are, but this isn't coming as a surprise to any of us at Town Hall. We've known this has been creeping up for some time, and some tough decisions are going to have to be made over the next year because it's at its breaking point. You've seen other towns, Hanson, I know, Whitman is going to it, whether it's a pay for a bag fee or some type of user fee or no town trash pickup at all. You're on your own, we'll get you. These are some decisions that are going to have to be made, and I don't have the answer today, and I don't think anybody does. If we did, we'd fix it now. But, hopefully we can do it with as little impact to the community as possible.
Let's talk a little bit of development. Let's talk about the former Naval Air Station. I know that Weymouth, Rockland, and Abington have all approved another new master developer. A lot of folks feel hopeful that these developers are going to be able to at least accomplish developing that parcel of land. What do you feel is the best way for the town to optimize its parcel? I think it's like 75 acres. Is it best for it to be commercial to kind of add money to the tax rolls? Residential, mixed use? What says you?
Well, if I had my way, it would be 100% commercial, but that's not really viable, unfortunately. Yep. Commercial, like you said, adds to the tax rolls. It's no more burden on the schools. It's less burden on the fire and police departments than residential. That being said, no developer is going to, promise 100% commercial, because they need to be able to get people in there to shop at those commercial. So that's why we had to, at town meeting, in the fall, we changed the zoning to be a mixed-use commercial residential. So more commercial, the better. That's what I'll push for. But I understand that there does need to be and will be some residential there.
Okay. Let's talk Route 18, because Route 18 is a key throughway for the community. And let's talk a little bit about maybe a little zoning change. Would you support zoning change for multi-story buildings similar to what Weymouth did? And would you also consider, do you feel that the town should pursue national chains to occupy that corridor?
Sure. Yeah, I drive that road every day to work, and really after the widening, it's really been great. I used to driving down Route 18. It would 2 lanes to 1 lane, 2 lanes to 1 lane would take forever. But now, now it moves pretty well, and I think as more people come down, it's going to be a nice place for us to be able to attract commercial businesses. Now, a lot of what Weymouth did, and their buildings do look pretty nice, is they allow them to build a couple floors of residential on top of what's commercial. Kind of a compromise to get these commercial people back in there. We have a major problem in this town where our commercial assessments are going way down, and our residential assessments are going way up, handing the tax burden to us. So we really have to do whatever we can to attract commercial businesses. If that means adding some more residential in a tasteful way, I'd be okay with that. As far as national chains go, we recently just hired a new town planner working with Liz Shea to really hopefully be able to bring in some national chains. I mean, that's great. We need more commercial. We need commercial that looks nice and really aesthetically pleasing, because that will attract more commercial.
Okay, going back to talking about town meeting, new overlay district, the new multifamily zoning district. This was the result of the MBTA Communities Law, which was put into place in 2021. It's already said and done, but give your thoughts on the plan. Do you feel that this is good for the community, that we have worked hard? I know the planning board put a lot of work. I know the planning department, Liz Shea, put a lot of work into this work for it to be passed. But you'll get a town like Milton who has decided that they don't want this. What's your thoughts? Yeah,
the key word you said there was law. I mean, it really was forced upon us. That said, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. I can't speak to Milton. I'm not sure where we're going to have theirs or anything. But we need more. We do need more residential in town. Apartment prices for rents are just through the roof. So houses are through the roof because it's supply and demand. We just don't have enough houses. People want to live here, and that's a good thing. Now, I do think that as that does build up and people take advantage of this district, then some road improvements and changes will need to be made on Summer Street, Walnut Street, the areas around it. But as that money comes in, we'll be able to hopefully, work with the developers on changing some of the infrastructure around it.
Okay. Not too long ago, the Board of Selectmen hosted South Shore VOTEC Superintendent Director Tom Hickey, as he showed a slideshow about their plans to build a new school. Now, knowing Abington is one of 9 member towns that participate, that send students to the VOTEC, and this is going to be at a cost to taxpayers. What's your thought as to this project and the town being a part of it?
As far as the project goes, I think it's great. I think it's really needed. South Shore VOTEC has done amazing things over the past 30 years. When I was a kid, it wasn't really a school that anybody wanted to go to. And now it's, you need to be an honor roll student just to be able to get into that school. And they've really done great things. And we all know that the trades are dying for people. They need people. So the school, the idea is great. The price tag, it's not finalized yet, so it's really hard to speak on. But the numbers they're showing right now, it's a lot, and it's going to be felt. So I don't know if the timing's going to be great or not when it does come down. That said, it's multiple communities, so whether we vote for it or not, we could be stuck holding the bill. So it's something to keep an eye on over the next few years. It's nothing that's going to happen overnight. They're still working on final numbers and different sort of grants and everything. So hopefully they can get that price down a lot further down, like we did with the fire station. The first price tag kind of sticker shock, and then by the time we chiseled it down, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, let's stay on. We'll talk about the DPW Fire Station. That was something that was needed. Well, the fire station was needed, and then there was
DPW was needed.
DPW was needed as well, and it wasn't an idea as how would we kind of do one and or the other, and then it was kind of the project was put together where both needs are going to be satisfied. Seeing that that's a project that is now in the development process, what do you feel is on the horizon when it comes to the next capital project. Some are saying that the Beaverbrook Elementary School is the next project on the horizon. Is this something that the town can afford? Can the town afford this project, or should this be something that's put on the shelf and has to wait?
Yeah, no, it definitely needs to wait. It's gonna happen eventually. As more people come to town, we're gonna outgrow our elementary school, and Beaverbrook and Woodsdale, we may need to think of a different plan going forward. But I don't see anything, happening in the next 5 years. It's just, it would be too much burden on the taxpayer.
Okay. What is the town's biggest need or issue that is talked about regularly, and what should town officials do to address it?
Well, I think definitely the biggest issue is the assessment of homes. As you know, every year, I can speak for the last 6 years, we've lowered the tax rate. Yet people are opening their tax bills and they're higher than the year before because their house that they bought for $300,000 is now worth $750,000. So assessments are going through the roof. Now, what we can do to help ease that pain is we really need to focus on building our commercial areas. We need to bring new businesses into town, and we need to somehow incentivize businesses that have been in town to remodel, whether it's through tax breaks or however we can do it, is to maybe remodel, fresh lights outside, fresh signage, fresh coat of paint. All these little things help attract all the businesses to town, and I think would really bring down the tax rolls, move the burden from the residential to commercial.
Abington is known for its local sports, its green wave pride. What else do you think the town is proud of?
It's people. It sounds funny, but really, I mean, anytime there's a crisis or a situation in town, the town really comes together. I think when I first ran for election, I spoke when I was younger. My little brother was diagnosed with leukemia, and it was amazing how just every night neighbors were coming over, checking on us, making sure everything was okay, bringing a hot dish, a casserole, something to make sure that the other four of us were, having dinner while my mother was dealing with my brother. And I see that same situation play out monthly, in this town. Whenever something bad happens, we really do come together. And then we bicker to each other afterwards, but that's fine.
I call this the blank check question. And the idea of this is, it could be a topic or issue that I haven't posed to you as a question. We haven't touched upon it, but maybe you might want to take a moment to discuss it. What would that be?
I don't know. I think we pretty well covered around.
Or even maybe it's something we talked about. Maybe you want to kind of pontificate further.
Oh, I don't know. No, I mean, just really over the next year, we really need to be careful with what we do. The state's not coming to our, to save us anytime soon. As their revenues are falling, local aid's not going to go up. So we really have to make sure that we keep a close eye on the budget so we don't, get the layoffs that you mentioned or even drastic cuts that affect town services. So okay. It's going to be a crucial year coming up, and really I think it's very important that we all pay attention.
Okay. Any further campaign info or anything you want to bestow to the folks who are viewing us at home?
No, there's, lawn signs will be coming out. We'll do a little bit of a meet and greet at some point in the next couple weeks. So if anybody needs to get a hold of me, it's Chapin at chemstation.com. They can reach me there, or find me on the sports fields around town with my kids, or at dance classes, or wherever we may be that night. I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to get a hold of. So they can find me on Facebook as well.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and the opportunity to be able to talk with you about your campaign.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Let's not make it another 3 years before I come back, right?
You got it. I want to thank you for joining us here today to learn more about the candidates and being a regular guest of Community Chat. Just a quick note, again, a reminder, don't forget that the Abington's annual town election is going to be held Saturday, April 27th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Beaverbrook Elementary School, 1 Ralph Hamlin Jr. Lane. And if you don't know as far as where you should vote, or you need more voting information, call the town clerk's office. They will provide you with all the information you need. 781-922112. I think it's 781-922112. And until our next conversation, have yourself a great day.